It's 11:47 in the morning, and Mia is standing in the cereal aisle of a Target in Minneapolis. Her 3-year-old son, Liam, is on the floor, screaming. His face is red, his shoes are off. He's been crying for 4 minutes because she put the wrong crackers in the cart. She does everything she's supposed to do. She reasons with him. She counts to 3. She threatens to leave. She whispers. She bribes. Nothing works. 20 people walk past. Some stare. One grandmother shakes her head, and Mia thinks, "What is wrong with my child?" Here's what the neuroscience says. Nothing is wrong with Liam. Everything is wrong with the question. Because a tantrum isn't bad behavior. It isn't a manipulation tactic. It isn't a sign that you failed as a parent. A tantrum is what happens when a brain doesn't yet have the tools to regulate itself. And in Scandinavia, in Denmark, in Sweden, in Norway, parents have understood this for over 50 years. Not because they have calmer children by nature, because they have a fundamentally different understanding of what a tantrum actually is. In the 1970s, Swedish child psychologists began building what would become the foundation of Scandinavian parenting education, a concept called Barnperspektiv. It means see the world through the child's eyes, not to excuse behavior, but to understand it. And once you understand what's happening in your toddler's brain during a meltdown, everything changes. Dr. Stephen Porges is a neuroscientist at Indiana University. In 1994, he published a theory that would eventually transform how pediatric psychologists understand child behavior. He called it the Polyvagal Theory. The short version, the human nervous system has 3 states: safety, mobilization, shutdown. When your toddler is calm and connected, they're in safety. When something overwhelms them, hunger, frustration, overstimulation, the nervous system shifts. First, to mobilization. Fight, flight, big emotions, loud crying. If nobody helps them regulate, it shifts to shutdown. The flat, glazed-over stare that comes after a big cry. Here's the critical part. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that manages reasoning, logic, language, and impulse control, is not fully developed until age 25. A 3-year-old like Liam doesn't have access to it during a tantrum. None. That means reasoning with him in that moment is like asking someone with a broken leg to run a marathon. The hardware simply isn't there. This is what Nordic parents are taught in government-funded birth preparation classes. Not that tantrums are cute, not that they're acceptable, but that they are neurological before they are behavioral. And that changes everything about how you respond. Because if it's neurological, then the goal isn't to stop the behavior. The goal is to regulate the nervous system, and a 3-year-old cannot do that alone. In Denmark, there's a practice that pediatric nurses teach to new parents in prenatal care courses. It doesn't have a flashy name. It's simply called Medregulering, co-regulation. The idea is straightforward. A child's nervous system cannot regulate itself. It borrows regulation from the adult next to it. When you stay calm, you lend your nervous system to your child. Their cortisol levels drop, their heart rate slows. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, begins to quiet. A 2019 study from the University of Copenhagen followed 214 toddlers and their parents over 18 months. Children whose parents used co-regulation techniques, physical closeness, calm voice, accurate emotion naming, recovered from tantrums in an average of 4 minutes. Children whose parents used distraction, punishment, or reasoning during the peak of the tantrum recovered in an average of 13 minutes. Same children, different parental response. 9-minute difference. But here's the part most parents miss. Co-regulation doesn't start with your child, it starts with you. Swedish researchers at the Karolinska Institute found that when parents showed elevated cortisol levels, meaning they were stressed, their children's cortisol spiked within 90 seconds, before any words were spoken. Your toddler is reading your nervous system faster than you can form a sentence. This is why Nordic parenting programs don't just teach parents what to do, they teach parents how to regulate themselves first. The oxygen mask principle. You cannot stabilize someone else's nervous system from inside your own storm. So what does this actually look like in practice? Researchers from the Norwegian Institute of Public Health distilled the most effective co-regulation responses into a 3-step sequence. It's been adapted across parenting education programs in Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. Step 1. Name it. Don't say stop. Don't say calm down. Don't explain why they shouldn't be upset. Say, I see you. You're really frustrated right now. Research from Dr. Dan Siegel at UCLA, one of the most cited pediatric neuroscientists in the world, found that when a child hears their emotion named accurately, measurable activity in the amygdala decreases within 60 seconds. Name it to tame it. The words build a bridge between the emotional brain and the earliest edges of the reasoning brain. Step 2. Claim it. Get physically lower than your child, eye level or below. Not to plead with them, not to negotiate, because the nervous system reads posture before it reads words. When you kneel down, you signal, I am not a threat. I am safe. The child's threat detection system begins to relax. Norwegian child psychologists call this body-first communication. You are speaking to the brainstem before you attempt to speak to the cortex. Step 3. Frame it. Once the storm is beginning to pass, not before, never before, offer one simple sentence. Not a lecture, one sentence. When you feel that big, it means your body needs help. I'm here to help. That single sentence does 3 things. It normalizes the feeling. It separates the child from the emotion, and it positions you as a resource, not an adversary. Back in Minneapolis, Mia is still in the cereal aisle. This time, she pauses. She takes one long breath, then another. She unclenches her hands. She kneels down on the Target floor next to Liam. I see you, buddy. You are really, really disappointed right now. Liam doesn't stop crying immediately, but he looks at her. She stays, close, calm, not explaining, not correcting, just present. 53 seconds later, Liam is in her arms, still sniffling, but done. This isn't permissive parenting. Liam still doesn't get the crackers. This is neuroscience. The long-term data on this approach is striking. A longitudinal study published in Child Development followed 500 children from toddlerhood into early adulthood. Children who experienced consistent co-regulation in their first 5 years were statistically more likely to show higher emotional intelligence at age 12, lower rates of anxiety at age 16, and stronger relationship quality in early adulthood. The researchers used a term that appears with increasing frequency in Nordic educational research: emotional scaffolding. Just as physical scaffolding supports a building while it's under construction, emotional scaffolding supports a developing nervous system until it can regulate itself independently. The goal was never to eliminate big emotions. The goal was to build the architecture that eventually makes self-regulation possible. And here's the uncomfortable truth for most Western parents. Many of us were raised in cultures that treated children's emotions as problems to be solved. Tantrums were punished, crying was shut down, emotion was inconvenient, and so many of us don't have strong co-regulation muscles ourselves because nobody co-regulated us. Nordic researchers call this the intergenerational regulation gap. You cannot give your child something you were never given. This is why Scandinavian parenting programs don't start with children, they start with parents. The Circle of Security program, developed with collaboration from American and Norwegian researchers and now used in 17 countries, spends its first 3 sessions entirely on the parent, their triggers, their childhood patterns, their own nervous system responses. Because a parent who can regulate is the most powerful developmental tool a child will ever have. Here are 3 things to try this week, drawn directly from the Nordic approach. First, when a tantrum begins, check your own body before you address your child's behavior. 1 breath, 1 pause, soften your hands. Your regulation comes first. Second, get physically lower before you speak. Body language before language. Kneel, sit, or crouch to eye level. Do this before a single word leaves your mouth. Third, name the emotion with specificity. Not, I know you're upset. More precise, you wanted that so much and now you can't have it and that feels terrible. Specificity activates more neural pathways in the reasoning brain than general comfort does. These 3 steps will not eliminate tantrums. Nothing will. Tantrums are developmental. They are supposed to happen. But they will change what tantrums build inside your child. Over time, a child whose nervous system was met, consistently, calmly, accurately, develops what researchers call an integrated brain. The emotional and the rational begin to work together rather than against each other. And that integration doesn't show up only at age 3. It shows up at 33. The Scandinavian approach to childhood has always held one central belief. You are not raising a child who behaves well. You are raising an adult who feels safe. Did Liam get his crackers that day? No. But something more important happened in that cereal aisle. He learned that his biggest emotions didn't scare away the person he needed most. That's the foundation. That's what Nordic parents have been building since the 1970s. If you want to go deeper on how calm environments shape calmer children, starting from the very first year of life, that video is right here. Which of the 3 steps feels hardest for you right now? Naming, claiming, or framing? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one in the first 24 hours.